Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, I've got a short message today, especially the first part. I may add on something after this, but the video is about this message right here. I saw some stuff online on Facebook, and it kind of just brought this emotion back, and I think it's important for. I have a feeling that this is going to help not just someone, but I think some of you on my channel right now. So if you're worried about whether God loves you or not, I assure you God does love you. Now, I'm not just going to say that. I'm going to give you at least one really good reason, and it depends on where I go with this after that. I may give you a series of reasons, but I'm going to give you a really good reason. And yeah, there's a couple things I'm going to share with you that'll not only, instead of just saying, oh, God loves you, I'm going to show you stuff that you already know. I'm going to point it out to you. So the music will go down in a little bit, about 10 seconds. Okay, so I'm not just saying this to be a nice guy to make you feel good. No, it really is true. So, okay, let's just think about it. How much does God love you? If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in Jesus, did it not say literally that God gave His only begotten Son for you? Why? Because He loves you. A little bit? No, a lot. The devil, the whole thing between God and the devil, and I'm not going to break this down in the Bible right now because it would just become this real, I think a lot of my videos become real technical when I start pulling up verses and all these scientific facts, etc. So one of the things that the devil is doing is he's doing everything he can to hurt us, God's children, because that's how he hurts God. And there's a lot of verbal word games that are going on that have tricked your mind into believing things that are just flat out not true. And I'm going to unravel at least one or two of those today. So this is a creation of God. Time, dimensions, space, 3D, all of this was a gift for us to experience life. What does that mean? It means to see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. Existence, literally, to enjoy this process. It's a gift, it's not a gift of punishment. It's a gift like when your mother or father gives you a gift. This is a time and an experience that you're supposed to enjoy, to experience fully. Now the challenge is the devil has tricked us. Now if you've gone through narcissist abuse, you can understand this, and I talk about this a lot on my channel, is just like in the book of Genesis, when the serpent, who is the narcissist, by the way, and the seed of Cain is the seed of narcissists, okay? So we now know, right now in the modern day, like, what is the seed of Cain? Well, it's the children that came from Cain. And what is the serpent? It's the same thing. It's literally, the Cain was a serpent. Alright, so let's talk about narcissist abuse. What do? They use a lot of verbal mind games. They're all about mind games and saying things in a tricky way and misleading you, slightly saying things. Or here's another one they do. They love to take a word out, or maybe a couple words out of a sentence, such as the love of money is the root of all evil. What they do is they take the love of out, and then they just say, oh, money's the root of all evil. So if you're sitting in church next to someone, because who teaches us this? The people in the pews. That's where I learned it all my life, for decades, until Pastor Rex finally goes, Michael, you've got to stop listening to the people in the pews. It's not coming from the people out there. It's coming from the people in the church. You have got to be careful who you listen to, even your therapist. Sometimes your therapist here's the deal, that they will reveal themselves. You've just got to pay attention. All right, so I don't want to digress. I don't want to get off on that path. So here's what I'm trying to say. The devil uses word games just like the narcissist because it's the same thing. It's the same beast, the same creature. It's just that, see, what happened is over time, well, the devil goes, well, I can't call myself a serpent anymore. What am I going to do now? Well, we can't call ourselves the seed of Cain. Oh, we'll change the name to something else so they won't make the connection in the Bible. And that's why they're called narcissists, because if you said, "Oh, that's a seed of Cain," or that's the seed of the serpent, then they couldn't walk around and do the shit that they're doing. So they had to change the name so there was no connection. So you go to church your whole life and you read the Bible and you learn about the seed of Cain and how he killed Abel and did these horrible things and how the serpent did this trick. Well, there's no connection, because now you see most people until very recently, the last 5 or 6 years, thought a narcissist was just someone who's arrogant and vain and liked to look in the mirror a lot and liked to make sure their hair was done right and they looked good. And my whole life I'm like, well, what's the big deal about that? And that's part of the game, is they want to downplay everything. Alright, so this is from today. I was on the Golden Gate Bridge. The wind was going at least 50 miles an hour. Well, at least 40 plus miles an hour, up to 50. It was pretty insane. Alright, let me say this right here, because this actually applies to the video. I just realized I am addicted to crossing that bridge on my bicycle. It is exhilarating. I cannot explain. See, here's the deal. When you're on the outside, this is facing west. The wind hits you at full blast, where when you get to the other side of the bridge and you walk across, it's kind of dampened down by about 40 or 50%. So, and not only that, but you don't get the view. This view is pure wild. It's just nature. Whereas the other views, you're looking at Emeryville and Oakland and Berkeley and all these homes and houses. It's a beautiful view, don't get me wrong. But the view from this side of the bridge is just awesome. So when I ride my bike across that bridge, when the wind was blowing so hard, you had to physically lean your bike. And as I was watching other people, their bikes were tilted over towards the wind. It puts you on edge. It keeps you alive. You're focused. It's exhilarating. And that's the way life was meant to be. It's not just about being exhilarating. It's not just about being excited. There's also about love, about love making, about feeling sensual, about feeling warm and passionate or kind, gentle. It's about experiencing all the experiences and senses of life. From the highs to the lows to the in-betweens to everything. I really, really would suggest that you curb your need for judging things versus just experiencing them and allowing yourself to experience life. The trick of the devil, okay, this is why I brought up the whole narcissist thing. So what do narcissists do to us? They shame us. They make us feel guilty. They make us feel bad. And then they put fear in us, just like the serpent did to Adam and Eve in the garden. That whole thing is completely misunderstood. And yet it's so obvious if you just read it. The last verse in chapter 2 of Genesis, it says, essentially, I forget word for word, but it was like they were in the garden and they were naked and they were not ashamed. So they're in the garden with God and they're naked. And I'm like, well, if they're not ashamed, like, why even point that out? And I thought, I think that message is coming up next. And it did in chapter 3. So one of the mistakes is God was saying, hey, don't eat of the tree of knowledge, or the fruit of the tree of knowledge, the fruit of the tree of knowledge, because he didn't want you to get stuck in your left brain, because that disconnects you from your 5 senses, which is connected through the right brain. So what do narcissists do? They hurt you, they shame you, and they guilt you, just like the serpent did in the Garden of Eden. Said, oh, well, that's not... See, it was a double lie. He tricked them. Oh, surely you won't die. Well, what does that mean to die? It means to it's like, okay, one thing about narcissists, they are completely cut off from their right brain. They have completely disconnected. It's almost as if they don't have any connection to it anymore, so they don't feel emotions. They don't sense what wine tastes like or flavor, like scents and smells and emotions and feelings. Now, I know a lot of you on this channel have already said this. It's like you got stung so bad in your solar plexus, which is essentially the seat of your emotions. So when you get hurt emotionally, after a period of time, when you get that really bad sting, it shuts you off from your right brain, and now you're locked into the left brain. And that's what God was talking about. I know that's what I went through. It took me years to come out of it. I call it the Great Wall of China. It was like, holy shit, like I was sensitive to everything. Like, what is this? What happened? There was a period of time where I felt like I had zero connection to spirit, zero connection to God. Like what is this? I'll tell you what it is. It allowed you to experience what it's like for people who don't believe in God. That lasted for at least, I'm going to say 9 months, a year, maybe even longer, I would say, until I truly opened up to my heart and started to feel like, oh, all of a sudden I had my intuition came back, my feelings came back, etc., etc. And I was like, wow, so people that walk around like that, they don't know what intuition is because they're not connected to it. Of course they're going to say they don't believe in intuition and they think it's bullshit. Of course they're going to say they don't believe in this thing called spirit and God and all that. Because you have to, it's like a television, you have to plug it in. It's like a fan, you have to plug it in and then turn it on. You have to not only plug it into the source of energy, electricity, but then you have to turn it on. And they do neither. Not only do they not do neither, they don't know that this connection is there. It's like they don't know what it is, and they don't know that there's something to connect. So they're looking at you like, what are you talking about? It's like if there was oranges all around them, but they can't see them, they can't smell them, they can't hear them, they can't taste them, because they're invisible, because the right side of the brain is what deciphers colors and sounds and flavors and tastes. And if you're not connected to that, people will talk about stuff and like, what are you talking about? Are you guys just making this up? So the reason why narcissists shame you, guilt you, and hurt you emotionally is they want to disconnect you. From what? From your right brain. And what does that open you up to? To God. That's what they're trying to disconnect you. It's not only that, but when they take away your right brain, they take away your happiness, they take away your joy, they take away the flavors of life. Everything tastes bland. The further you go into the left brain, just like you go to Domino's Pizza, right? You order a pizza, and man, this is really good, but then you order it again a week later, like, this kind of sucks. And I went to the Domino's guy and I go, I bet people come in here and will tell you, man, that last pizza I ordered, it wasn't as good as the other one. And he's like, yeah, he goes, it's the same ingredients, it's the same oven, it's the same settings, it's the same everything. And people come in here all the time and say, hey, that pizza I bought last night wasn't as flavorful, didn't taste the same. It's because they were in their left brain. The further you go into the left brain, the more you disconnect from your five senses, which means flavors seem bland, colors start to become bland, music becomes bland. But the further you go into the right brain, the more flavors pop, the more music pop, the more colors pop. Everything becomes alive. And that's what Jesus means when he says the kingdom is at hand. This is also what he means when he says, to die, to have this spiritual death. So when you go into your left brain, you literally have a spiritual death. I know because I experienced it after that whole narcissist thing. And now that I'm back, it's like I can look at them and like there's no use trying to convince them because they don't have the connection to even understand what you're talking about. Now, what's my point of sharing all of that with you? There's a bigger picture I'm painting here. God gave you this gift called life. He had to create a third dimension, right? Height, length, width, and height. He had to create contrast in order for you to experience the five senses. Without contrast, meaning negativity, well, you can't hear music, you can't taste flavor. There's no contrast. If everything is positive, electrons or eons or whatever, or ions, I mean, it's so pure, you don't even know you exist. That's why God added the spark of negativity, and all the way across there became flavors and sounds and colors and feelings and emotions, and there became life. Have you ever noticed how narcissists are black and white? Like everything about them, it's their voice, the way they talk, everything is droning. There's no colors, there's no music, there's no colorful lighting. They're just drab. Well, the left brain is the either or brain, which means the black or white brain. You'll hear them say things like, "Oh, if it's not black or white, I don't want to hear about it. It's either right or it's wrong. It's either good or it's bad." Well, that's why the narcissist or the demon or the devil or the serpent or the seed of Cain, they want to scare you, because then they put you in that far extreme left brain, which is either or thinking, and now they just took away life. Now you are essentially spiritually dead. This is spiritual death. And Jesus is proclaiming the kingdom of God is at hand. The more you open up to the right brain, the more you see it, the more you hear it, the more you feel it. Even if it's just, okay, I've told this to you before. In my course with men, Crack the Female Code, I open them up to the right brain more and more and more and more until one day they pop. And they'll look out my window and go, "Wow, I never noticed how vibrant the green was in those leaves and the trees." He goes, "Wow." And they will get up and walk over towards the window, the sliding glass door or window or whatever you call it. And they're like, "Wow, these colors are so vibrant and alive." He goes, it's like they pop. They're just, I go, kind of like an electric green. They're like, "Yeah." All of a sudden, this guy who's worried about right or wrong, what's the right thing to say to a woman, what's the wrong thing, I don't want to get in trouble, either or, right or wrong, and if you're wrong, you're going to get punished. All of a sudden, they're alive, they're open, they're emotionally open, they're talking about life, they're talking about, what they love, and all of a sudden, they become alive. This is what Jesus was talking about, a heaven on earth. Food begins to taste better. You start enjoying music. You enjoy conversations. You enjoy interacting with people. Your feelings become more alive. You feel more at a heightened sense. If the devil can put you in a state of fear, that the artery in the lower reptilian brain lowers and narrows, and it keeps the blood down in your muscular skeletal system for fight and flight. Now you're operating off of your lower reptilian brain, and you have no access to these higher regions of brain to enjoy life. And the other thing is, you do connect with spirituality. You connect with your intuition. You'll know something and you won't even know why. It's not necessarily because it's some spooky thing. It's because you're in a heightened state of your right brain. The further you go into the right brain, the more your senses become heightened. That's just a Western scientific, physical fact. And love is experienced through the right brain, through your heart, your emotions, your chest, your solar plexus, your belly. Your right brain goes down into your body and connects with that. So if the narcissist can shut you off from your right brain, he disconnects you from the greatest emotion on the planet, love. It's the whole reason why you're here, is to experience love, this flow, this energy, this emotion, like getting through life in a much easier, happier way. And see, I know a lot of you guys are struggling in so many different ways, from financial to just, I'm at a place in my life where everything is becoming much more smoother. I don't think it's perfect, but man, do I interact with people better. What's the word? When people throw insults at me, it's kind of like water off a duck's back. It's just like things are just better than they were even 9 months ago. So the whole trick was to put you in a state of fear, which brings you down to this lower point, which is condensed energy. The further you go down, the more you suffer. Meaning the more fear, the more shame, the more guilt, all of that stuff, it becomes more and more condensed, and you start to suffer tremendously, and you don't need to. Now I'm going to give you, I'm going to bring something up that I call complex equivalence. It's something I learned from NLP. It essentially means this means that, and there's a lot of games that people, from parents to narcissists to even people when they talk about the Bible, even your pastors. Now here's the thing, a lot of them were taught stuff that is just absolutely not true at all. And the reason why your brain thinks it's true is because anytime someone says this means that, your brain goes, oh, okay, it automatically accepts it because 1 + 1 = 2. This means that is the reason. Okay, the reason why they call it complex equivalence is because it means this equals that. So when you say this means that, that literally means this equals that. So the word means is an equal sign in your brain on an unconscious level. Alright, so real quick, once again, in Algebra 1 and or pre-algebra, your first chapter, it'll tell you what words mean mathematically. This is that. That literally, the word is the equal sign. The word and is the plus sign. So 2 and 3 is 5. So that literally means 2 + 3 = 5. Now you can go 2 times 3 = 6. Now remember how a lot of us got that mixed up, and you're like, well, no, it's 5. And he's like, no, that said times. The word times means to multiply. Now the reason why I'm bringing this up is because your brain, it's like hardwired into your brain. If someone says this means that, or that is this, or anything to the extent of this equals that in any kind of verbal sentence, your brain unconsciously automatically accepts it without even thinking about it. It's like, oh, okay. It's like when people say, you don't take the Lord in vain because that means blah, blah, blah. It's like, it doesn't mean that. You don't even know what the frick that means. It doesn't mean to curse the Lord's name or say Jesus Christ or God damn it. It literally means, now here's the deal. Right now you got a bad feeling in your body, huh? That's how powerful it is they say this means that and you feel bad. That's exactly what narcissists do. They make connections to negative emotions and pain. So to take the Lord's name in vain literally means when you go off to war and say, we're going to kill these people in the name of the Lord, that's taking God's name in vain. God's essentially saying, whoa, don't put that on me. So what's the whole point of all this? And I'm going to read something I Googled, and it's a Bible verse, and then it says, and that means blah, blah, blah. And the minute I saw that, oh, that's bullshit. Where in the Bible does it say it means that? It does not say that. And I actually saved it. Hopefully I still got it. I think I do. Yeah, I do. So the more I say this to you, the more it's going to pop up. You're going to hear people say, well, blah, 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 and that means this. Now, the other one is cause effects. This causes that. It's the greater than, less than symbol, right? And so it literally is the cause effect. And it's like whenever someone says this causes that, even if they don't use the word cause, but they infer it in some way verbally, it's bullshit. Alright, so here's the deal. I'm not going to give any more than those two, but can you remember a narcissist literally saying, well, and what that means is this, and this means that? Well, that means this, don't you? And that's why, see, this is how they get your brain trapped, is they start adding stuff that is completely made up. And the famous one that I made up about two weeks ago, it's literally at the top of my head, it's like, well, I go, well, why do you say God bless it like that? You sound so angry and so, pissed off. And they're like, well, because I don't want to take the Lord's name in vain. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Well, I don't want to say God damn it. I'm like, oh, well, why is that? Well, I don't want to take the Lord's name in vain. Well, first of all, that's not taking the Lord's name in vain. That's not what it means. Now, that's a popular pop religious belief, but it's just a belief. It's literally made up. And then what I say to him is like, look, if you say God bless it. I go, you're saying that because that's in replacement of saying God damn it. And they're like, well, yeah. I go, so essentially you're saying the same thing, you just changed the word. They're like, well, yeah, of course. I go, so you're still taking the Lord's name in vain. And they're like, well, I never thought of it that way. I go, well, if you're doing this, that means you're taking the Lord's name in vain. And they're like, man, I didn't know that. Well, the reason why you didn't know that is because I just made it up right now. It's not real. You can take, like, okay, well, if you have two cats, that means Tommy has 3 rabbits. That doesn't mean that at all. Our entire lives, even as adults, we hear people say this to us all the time. We read it and we don't even stop and go, wait a minute, does that really mean that? Most of the time, it's literally made up. But your brain, here's my point. Your brain goes, whoa, okay. It's like, it's not even going, whoa, it just goes, boom, it accepts it. It slips right past. That's why you have to be aware of complex equivalence. That's a complicated word for saying this means that or that means this. That's it. And the other one is cause effect. This causes that. A lot of times this doesn't cause that at all. But again, you hear someone say something in a sentence like that and your brain goes, oh, okay. You know, it's like, now I know. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Is that real? Does that really cause that? Never thought of that. So one of the greatest realizations that I came to 5-6 years ago is like, oh, narcissists are constantly playing these mind games to make us feel guilty. Like, oh, this is wrong. Oh, that means I'm in trouble. Oh, this means that. That means, and it wraps your brain. And this is what they do to you all day long. This is why your brain gets so wrapped up and you get stuck and you can't even think. You're in a state of fear because slowly, I mean, you could be at a burrito shop like, well, so you're eating a burrito, man? Wow. Well, you're a white guy in a burrito shop, man. That means you're a racist. Like, wait, how does that mean I'm a racist? What? Like, but I was smart enough. See, okay, I shouldn't even said that. Because before I took NLP, I would have tried to defend myself. Now I call them, say, well, how does that mean that? And they're like, oh, and that's what happened. I called him on it. I said, well, how does that mean this? Or how does this mean that? And he goes, and so then I just started going after him because now, but the thing is, I'm educated on this and now you are too. Now I Googled something because it's like, well, why do people always feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, okay, see, you've been tricked into the either or mentality. That's the concentrated, the either or extreme left brain. It's like down that funnel that I showed you. You want to be on the other end of the funnel. I keep telling you, love literally opens you up to the bigger picture. You want to be at the top of this funnel. So the whole narcissist, the serpent in the garden, the goal was to make you feel ashamed. That's a real powerful emotion that shuts you down, that shuts the artery down, that shoves you down into the tip of this funnel. And now it's concentrated, dark, heavy, negative energy. It's literally dense energy and it doesn't feel good at all. You don't feel free. It's like you were put into a prison without anyone ever having to touch you, put you in a cage. They don't have to build a jail. They don't have to build metal bars. They don't even have to make handcuffs. If they can say this means that and that means that over and over in different scenarios, now you're trapped in your own little mental box. And that's what they've done to society. Now, watch what I read from you that I just Googled. Alright, here we go. So I Googled, what does it mean to fall short of the glory of God? Now here's the thing, that actually, the phrase fall short came to me when I was doing this, going, okay, what is going on here? People have been convinced that there's this either or game going on. You're either good or you're bad. You're either pure or you're not. Oh, you fall short of the glory of God. So listen to what it says here. In the context of Romans 3:23, falling short of the glory of God. And then it says means, and I went, means? This is make-believe time, people. It means that all humans, due to sin, fail to meet God's perfect standard of righteousness and holiness. Blah, 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 blah. It's a load of shit. The word sin means to cut off from or to close or to close off from. It's that artery. When you when you are in a state of fear, you get condensed energy and the artery begins to narrow, and thus you have less blood, and now you're not operating on the right brain. Now you have cut off from the right brain and you are closed off from the right brain. The same thing that narcissists do to you, and that's why they do it to you, because the right brain is the open brain to spirit, truth, and God. This is why breathing techniques, stretching, and meditation or deep prayer is good for you, because it opens you up to the right brain. Now you are aware of things. So here's the deal. A lot of you think sin is breaking these man-made rules. Oh, I broke like no, you didn't. It's like sin means to cut off from. As long as you're open to God, that means you're in the Garden of Eden. But if you got stuck in your logical left brain, that is being cut off from God. So sin means to be cut off from or closed off from. It means now you don't have the intuition, the spiritual connection, the awareness of. Now let's read some more. All of this stuff is made up. The only thing it says, falling short of the glory of God. That's all it says. And then it says means that, and then everything after that is a load of crap. If you don't understand what the word sin means, well, then you won't understand it. So here it says in the next paragraph, sin and separation. The phrase all have sinned acknowledges that every person has. Now watch this. The word acknowledges is the same thing as this means that. So the phrase all have sinned means that, I changed it from acknowledges to means, that every person has transgressed God's law and fallen short of his expectations. No, it doesn't mean that. This sin creates a separation between humanity and God. It does, because you separated yourself from the right brain, which is the open doorway to God. By the way, the internal awareness techniques that I keep talking about, that I teach in one-on-one coaching or in my groups, this is what opens you up to your right brain. And you're like, well, Michael, how come you understand all this stuff? Because I see it now. It's obvious. When you are open more and more to the consciousness, to your right brain, and all the brains operating at once, you start seeing through the bullshit. You're like, yeah, that's just not true at all. I could feel it. All right, now watch this. So I'm going to go back. Falling short of the glory of God means that all humans, according to whom? Due to sin, fail to meet God's perfect standard of righteousness. Where does it say that all humans in the Bible? Where does it say fail to meet God's perfect standard? Perfect standard? No, it doesn't say that. See, that's the thing. They're making this up. It doesn't say that in the Bible. And then let's see. And then the other thing is, like, they know that they either don't understand the word sin, or they know that you don't know the word sin, what its actual definition is. Okay? And then the word separation. Of course you're going to be separated from God once you're separated from yourself, because if you're not connected to yourself, you can't open up to God. So then it says the phrase all have sinned acknowledges that every person has transgressed God's law and fallen short of his expectations. No, it doesn't. That doesn't mean that. That's falsified. That's made up. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep you at this point by saying you're not following all these millions of rules. It went beyond the 10 commandments to the multitude of universal commandments around the universe. It's like, dude, it's like there's so many rules. It's like, what the hell? See, here's the thing. The reason why God sent Jesus was because you guys killed the bulls. You sacrificed the animals in the Old Testament to appease God, to be forgiven, and then finally open back up to God. Because in the book of Genesis, that's where the trick happened. Humankind felt guilty and shameful, and they felt so bad, and they wanted to be released of this, and they wanted to connect with God again. And God's like, okay, clearly killing all my bulls and all my birds and all my pigeons and all the rabbits and everything you guys killed, that's not working. I know. I'll give my son. Tell me the truth. Have you completely released and let go? No, you haven't. Because once you let go, you're going to be at the top of this. See, God, it's all about the Alpha and the Omega. It's like opening up more and more, going to the top. And this is where you completely flow. You completely let go. These internal awareness techniques teach you how to let go. See, you were put into this belief system of either or, okay? And in the either or, they can constantly say, oh, you fell short of the glory of God. You're no good. And therefore you start feeling ashamed. And like Adam and Eve did in the Garden of Eden, it said, and they hid. So once the serpent told them they were naked and that was shameful and to cover up, what does cover up mean? It means to cover up your right brain and your emotions and feelings because you're ashamed and now you're hiding from God. And it says in the Bible, it says, and God came into the garden of the cool of the grass, the cool of the day, or whatever it was. And it says, and they hid. And I'm like, well, why are they hiding? And then God calls out and says, Adam and Eve were out there. And then Adam calls out and says, well, we're hiding. And God says, why are you hiding? And he says, because we're naked. And then God says, who told you that you were naked? And right there, one day I went, wait a minute. They were told that they were naked? You mean they didn't know that they were naked? And then I went back to Genesis, the last verse, verse 25, chapter 2, verse 25. And I was like, that's right. It says they were naked in the garden with God and they were not ashamed. And I thought, well, why did it even say that if they weren't ashamed? They didn't even know what nakedness meant. They had no idea that they were naked. See, the serpent made up a word and goes, okay, well, what is this? Oh, okay, we'll call this naked. What does that mean? Well, this means that. And the serpent literally said, and this means you should be ashamed. This is wrong. This means, and so literally, Adam and Eve hid from God because they were ashamed. Doesn't that sound like you? Doesn't that sound like what the narcissists have been doing to us for thousands of years to get us at the bottom of this, which is away from God? You want to go the other way. You want to open up. Doesn't this look exactly like the V that I keep talking about, where you got to turn it around and go to the other end? Where Jesus literally said, get behind thee, Satan. When this tip of the point is the Satan part, you want to get to the other part. I literally teach you how to do that in my internal awareness course. Because it opens you up to the other side. The better you get at it, the more conscious, the more peaceful you become. What am I trying to say? The whole idea that you're okay, here is the illusion. The illusion is that you are supposed to perfectly follow the set of rules and guidelines that was made up. See, a lot of stuff people talk about in church, I'm like, where does it say that in the Ten Commandments? You know, you need to challenge people when they say stuff to you. Just say, and where exactly does it say that in the Bible? Well, I mean, it says this here, and what that means is this. And you're like, that's bullshit. You just made that up. This does not mean that. And they're going like, oh, man. I actually do this quite a bit to Christians. And then they start going, man, I never really thought of it like that. Because they were brainwashed just like you were. They were said, well, this means that. And they're like, oh, okay. And they just accepted it. I mean, I should start my own church and says, well, this means you are a god, and this means that you deserve 50 denarii of gold, and this means all this wonderful, and this means you're awesome, this means you're amazing, this means you're the best artist on the planet, this means you're a very loving person, I should do this, and this means God loves you. You want to know how I know so much? A long time ago, Pastor Rick said, number one, get a King James Bible with a Greek Hebrew key lexicon dictionary in it. So they have an Old Testament dictionary and the New Testament dictionary, and there's numbers for every word. And I'll look it up. So what does the word sin mean? And then he goes, now go get the King James Bible word book. I'm holding it right now. This is a big, thick dictionary of the Bible. And then I have I forget, it's called this something concordance, the Vines Concordance, whatever, dictionary. And you start looking up these words, and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't mean what people in church say it means. Like, another famous one I share with you guys is how people say, do you fear the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul? I'm like, no, I don't fear God. I love God. And they're like, and then, because The Bible doesn't say to fear God. It means the word the word from the Hebrew language was mistranslated. It literally means to admire God, to admonish God, to look up to God, and to seek shelter under God. And the whole English Bible says it means to fear God. It's like, wait a minute, that's not the proper translation. So what's the purpose of this entire video? Life was a gift that was meant to be enjoyed. That's what I'm really trying to tell you. If you think God, okay, you would have to think that God is a sick, psychotic, psycho, sadistic, I want to cuss but I'm not going to cuss individual. Go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create humans with feelings and emotions, and I'm going to torture them, I'm going to burn them, I'm going to make them feel guilt and shame, and I want them to feel bad all the time. I want them to feel that they're not worthy of me, that they fall short of the perfection of me, and all the bullshit. It is clearly pointed out in the book of Genesis that it was the serpent that shamed Adam and Eve, that convinced them that naked was wrong, and that's why they hid from God. And that's you and me. All I'm saying is God never wanted to hurt you. God did not shame you. That was the devil. God never wanted you to hide from him. And God never wanted you to fear him. God loves you. You were tricked and manipulated and lied to. God loves you, period. You would literally have to believe God is one of the sickest beings in the entire universe in order to believe that this is one big punishment factory. It's not. The earth, the planet, the universe, the three-dimensional, the five senses, this was created so we could enjoy things, so we can enjoy life and food, including learning things, which means you're going to fall down and you're going to bump your knee and go get a little a boo-boo, and it's going to hurt, but it wasn't meant to hurt as deeply as the serpent in the garden did to Adam and Eve. It was never meant for you to feel guilt and shame and to be completely life destroyed from a narcissist. That was never, ever the intention. And once again, that wasn't God. That was the narcissist. That was the devil or the serpent. The intention was for you to learn and to grow and to experience celebration from it. But even that was taken away from us. I remember in high school, I was captain of the wrestling team and football team. So I won this wrestling tournament, and I remember when the referee grabbed my hand to lift it up, I looked down in shame because I knew that if I held my head up even a little bit, my own team would have ripped me to shreds. The fans would have looked at me like, wow, you cocky bastard. Oh, whatever, man. I felt like crap. I felt horrible. It's like, it wasn't until years later when I'm like, well, then why even do that if you're not allowed to feel good about achieving your goals and accomplishing things? So someone took a picture of it, and at the very end of the year, you have this banquet where the coaches hand out the awards, the parents and your girlfriends and stuff come, and you have dinner. It's like a potluck thing, and they call you up. The coach says, Mike, he overcame a lot of challenges this year personally and also in wrestling and blah blah blah, and he gets the most inspirational award. And at somewhere in the middle of this, they were showing images, little clips. They'd show an image. And then they showed mine, and everyone went, wow. I'm looking down in absolute pure depression. The referees hold my hand up because I won this tournament. And one of the coaches, which was Christian, I think all three of them were, and they're like, now that's what a good Christian does. That's the way a Christian should be. I remember I looked at the coach like, what the hell are you talking about? And it wasn't until I got older, till I went through my awakening at the age of 20 years old, when I realized, like, you're not allowed to enjoy any reward from any hard work. That is not the way God designed it. You were supposed to enjoy your rewards. You were supposed to enjoy your accomplishments. See, imagine if I just smiled because I was happy that I accomplished a goal. Not because I beat some guy, not because he's a loser, not because I'm looking down at being cocky bastard. Nothing like that. You're just enjoying like I did it. See, and as an opponent, like whenever someone beat me, I was always happy for them. Like, what's wrong with that? Nothing. And this is what, do you get the message I'm trying to say? Everything that we were supposed to enjoy and be happy about was turned into, oh, well, this is wrong if you smile. This is wrong if you have any jubilation or any celebration because you accomplished a goal that you went after. What I'm saying is throw all that crap into the garbage because it's just crap. Start enjoying your life. Enjoy your victories. Enjoy your celebrations. I'm not saying being cocky, mean, rude, disrespectful, but being happy, genuinely happy because you worked your ass off and you finally achieved something. Enjoy it. You're supposed to. So get back out there and start kicking ass. Alright guys, that's it for this message. If you like, please click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and remember, as always, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box, or you can buy one of my dating and relationship books. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.